All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about living in our truth, that clarity. All right? Having the clarity. And to help us, we have the one and only Coach Randy. How are you?
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Hey, brother. How are you, man?
Everything's beautiful on this side. Everything's beautiful, brother.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's look here. No, look, man. Now, okay, look. I already said it from the beginning. Clarity. All right, living in our truth, and to segue into what it is that you do, you are a truth coach. Okay.
Yes.
So, for those who are not familiar with what it is that you do, can you just break it down to them? What is a true coach, and we'll talk about the rest in a second.
Yes, sir. Well, actually, I started out as a life coach. But the more and more I started to talk with people, and we started to go through things through life per se, what I started to realize was one of our main issues, and I'll use myself as an example. One of my main issues was I was afraid to stand in what I felt was my truth. I was running from instances within my past instead of facing them because of other people's feelings or the fear of possible exile due to facing these things. Because many people go through trauma of different types. Now, I came up in a two-parent home, and I had everything, but that didn't mean that I wasn't going through things that did not fit my life. You don't blame people for how they raise you, even if they do it wrong to you. See, people only do it the way that they know best to do it. Now, did that always satisfy my psyche? No. But for years, I suppressed these things, and it started to affect me as a son, as a father, as a husband, as a friend, because I was living in a box. I wasn't fulfilling myself completely because I was actually living in this lie. And this lie was, it's gonna be all right. It's not gonna be all right. I have to face it, and I have to face those that were in my story. One thing about a relationship, you can rekindle a relationship, but you only get one chance at your life. So during your life cycle, are you willing to sacrifice a relationship for your greater good and pray that it gets better? Or are you willing to sacrifice yourself before you even leave there? So that's what a truth coach is. A truth coach is a person that helps you to get within your story from your perspective, not from somebody else's point of view, from your point of view, and be strong enough and willing to give your point of view despite the things that might come your way, because that is truly where you're going to find your peace and your freedom to be the best version of who you can be moving forward.
Okay, all right. Look, man, you didn't drop the heavy bombshell on us, brother. But seriously, you do speak to some very key points, because eventually, look, okay. And I don't really want to step on nobody's toes, and I want to be, a little careful.
It's okay.
But since we're talking about truth, and let's just, keep it real. Sometimes it starts at home. As you said, look, I had everything I needed to have. I had a 2-parent home. Anything that I personally needed and wanted for, was met. But there were some things beyond the home, internally, saying, that I yearned and wanted, and, was trying to identify this or what have you, that all of this can't help me. There are some things that I need to come to terms with, but I can't come to grips with those terms because, as you said, exile, from certain friends, certain family members who are, they are gatekeepers to us at times of our lives, that can help us get from one, level to a next level or what have you. They can put forth that motion and, to like listen to some of the things that you're saying, like when they have their, or when they project their expectation onto you, because let's just keep it real now. Come on now, coach. We speaking truth now. When they project their, okay, look, wants and needs onto you. This is what I want for you. Like I know what you may want. Well, no, I don't know what you want, but that doesn't matter about what it is that you want, because what I want for you, is better than anything that you will ever want. Because how do you know what you want? You don't know what you want.
That's it. That's it right there.
Hey, look. Woo! What? Look! Come on now, we have a church. Boy, y'all don't. Man, look.
That's the problem. That's you hit the nail on the head. We as I'm gonna talk as a parent. No, let's keep it right.
Come on, talk to me now. Come on, coach.
We play on words so much, but we don't listen to how we play with them. We'll sit there and say out of the mouth of babes, right? But we don't want to hear what they got to say. You got to talk to your kids, and I'm not talking about. We have a zone that we like to enter, where we let our kids be open. Because if you don't talk to them, they're gonna go talk to somebody else, or they're gonna run to somebody else. I got daughters. I want my daughters here first. You understand what I'm saying? But if I don't allow them to be truthful with me, and they have to be manipulative because they are afraid of the consequences, they're going to run somewhere else. That's the thing that we have to do as parents. To try to, I'm not going to say we're not going to do it perfect, but I guarantee you can lessen I like to call it self-inflicted mental illness. And I call it self-inflicted because we hold in the pain to protect. But all it does is cycle inside of you, circle, and it makes you sick from the inside out. And that's when you start projecting it on others. And a lot of times you do it unconsciously because you've allowed it to become you instead of letting yourself come out.
Come on now.
Yeah. So, one thing I got to leave this with the parents.
Come on now.
Talk to your kids. I heard be quiet too much growing up. And I'm like, but I might have something that might help you. You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't been here long enough. I've been here though.
Come on now. Look, listen.
I'm here now. You trying to prepare me to be able to live on my own, but you don't want me to talk for myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, to your point, real quick, talk to your kids. Now, look, coach, I'm a parent. My child just turned 20. Okay, I can't even call him a child no more. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like he's 20. And I try not to keep my foot in toe so much because I have to understand, look, I was 20. I know how I was when I was 20. I know what I wanted to hear, what I didn't, want to hear. I try to be the best resource possible because I have to think differently now. He's not a child that needs my help crossing the street or any of that. If anything, maybe some advice or what have you, but he's going to have to figure out on his own what he wants his path to be. And to go back to what we were talking about earlier, when it comes to parents, you don't know what's good for you. I know what's good for you, this, that, and the other. That's a hindrance. And that is such a crucial hindrance, to the, personal development of a child, whether you're female or male,
Yes.
So real quick to your point. Now you say you have daughters, correct?
Yes.
Now, I just spoke to a great friend of mine. You know, we were talking. His daughter's in college, you know, and he had mentioned something about his daughter being down in Miami for spring break. And I was like, oh, okay, you know. I mean, you know, like, of course I have a son. My thinking is on, you know, a little, on a much different level. But I had to wheel it in for a second, you know, to try to understand what he was going to talk about. But he was talking about his daughter being down in Miami and how he and how they normally talk about things, but they didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
So he mentioned that, you know, as we were like discussing further, what have you, basically his daughter still sees him as a daddy, you know, and they don't want to let, you know, this grown side of themselves, you know, interfere with the image of, oh, I'm still your child, I'm still your precious child, etc., what have you. But he said that, you know, he understood, you know, like, hey, they're going to be kids. So my advice to you, or basically I'm asking for your advice or, you know, or your thoughts on this situation. When you're in a situation like that, you know, at what point does the parent have to come to their, you know, child, not as a parent, but as adult to adult?
Man, that's a powerful question. Believe it or not, we started having those types of conversations when my daughters were like 5 and 6.
Come on.
And you have to create. I wanted it to end up being not I didn't want it to be an afterthought. I wanted it to be a necessity to have to. So I started early. Now and you would be amazed at the conversations we would have when we would leave the parents at the door. Now it's not an easy conversation to have, but those are the conversations you have to have. And I said all that to say, I would hope that once my daughters get to that age, these conversations I've been having for my daughters are 12 and 13, so the last 7 years or so, and moving forward, when they get there, they want to call me. And they know that when I call dad, he's not going to pressure me as dad. He's going to listen to me. He's going to listen because he's raised. See, you have to be confident in the process that you bared upon your kids during their raising. Don't doubt what you did. If you did it the best way possible, trust it. You have to trust it. And then you just have to be open and willing to accept the things that they do want to talk to you about. Now, it's not going to be easy. You might have to bite that lip. But bite that. Trust me, it is worth biting that lip. Because the other person that they go to may not be able to give them the advice that's going to help them. It may be enough advice to pacify the situation. But they need that advice that's going to help them, because at the end of the day, when our kids leave, we want our kids to come back home safely and soundly. So that would be, I would say it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. It may be a little harder later on because now they have their own way of thinking. You know, they've already went through some battles with quote unquote out you. But you can always implement in as a soldier and say, hey, I got to start in boot camp. You willing to start with me?
Look, you know.
Wow. That's a powerful question. Believe it or not, we started having those types of conversations when my daughters were like 5 and 6.
Come on.
And you have to create. I wanted it to end up being not I didn't want it to be an afterthought. I wanted it to be a necessity to have to. So I started early. Now and you would be amazed at the conversations we would have when we would leave the parents at the door. Now it's not an easy conversation to have, but those are the conversations you have to have. And I said all that to say, I would hope that once my daughters get to that age, these conversations I've been having for my daughters are 12 and 13, so the last 7 years or so, and moving forward, when they get there, they want to call me. And they know that when I call dad, he's not going to pressure me as dad. He's going to listen to me. He's going to listen because he's raised. See, you have to be confident in the process that you bared upon your kids during their race. Don't doubt what you did. If you did it the best way possible, trust it. You have to trust it. And then you just have to be open and willing to accept the things that they do want to talk to you about. Now, it's not going to be easy. You might have to bite that lip. But bite that, trust me, it is worth biting that lip.
Right.
The other person that they go to may not be able to give them the advice that's going to help them. It may be enough advice to pacify the situation.
Right.
But they need that advice that's going to help them, because at the end of the day, when our kids leave, we want our kids to come back home safely and soundly. Mm-hmm. So that would be, I would say, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. It may be a little harder later on. Because now they have their own way of thinking. You know, they've already went through some battles with quote unquote out you.
Right.
But you can always implement in as a soldier and say, hey, I got to start in boot camp. You willing to start with me?
I mean, come on, man. Well, no. And, you know, to your point, and you bring it up, man, look, 5, 6 years old, yes, we need to have these conversations. Mm-hmm. And there may be some people out there that may think, well, you know, Coach Randy, isn't it a little too young? No, because once again, we have to get out of the mindset. Seriously, first and foremost, we have to get out of the mindset of the first generation industrial, you know, type of thinking, where it's okay, line up, do this, you go to school, you do this, you're going to be this type of citizen. We don't live in that type of world anymore. We live in the third generation industrial revolution. Okay, so one thing that, you know what, and I'm going to say it, Coach Randy, you may not agree with this, but we going to talk it out, okay? But one of the things that really, tickles me but irks my soul at the same time is phones and how we talk to kids about our phone. Wait a minute, hold on now. How we talk to kids about our phones now. Now, mind you, they're the most tech-savvy people on the planet, but yet we tell them, put your phone away. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have your phone out. You know, you shouldn't do this, that, and the other on the phone. But the second they leave, what is it that we do as adults? We take out our phone and we start doing everything on our... So it's we're doing the... Look, I don't want to say it's hypocritical, but... No,
it's hypocritical. It is, but it is, but... And this is where the adulting becomes a problem.
Yeah, come on now. Come on, Coach. Let's talk now. Let's wrap a taste.
Because we feel like we have more mental control than the kids have. We feel like they're more easily steered in the wrong direction. You know, we feel like we can, I just do it to pass away the time. But what if that's what they're doing? But as parents, we're so protective, and I'm guilty. I'm guilty. You know, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. You know, but it's like, you've been doing it too long. Why you been on there for so long? What you doing?
I hear you. Okay, cool.
You know, so, I mean, it's me and my wife say it all the time. Parenting, I don't care what kind of job you do. That's the hardest job you'll ever do in your life.
Because it never stops.
And there's no blueprint. And you got to think about what we're saying. We're saying there's no blueprint to something that's been existing as long as man has been here. And there's no blueprint to parenting, none at all. There's this thing that we call trust that we have to build into. We have to build into this trust at an early age. You know, and I like how you said, we don't think about the fact that what if those kids that are, say, 5 and 6 are left by themselves within 30 days of not having that conversation. Because see, that's reality. Because no time is promised to nobody. So when do you cut out the it's too early and begin to prepare them then? We don't think about the fact that, we don't need to wait for the schools to teach our kids how to dial 911. You need to do that as soon as they can pick up. If they can get that phone and play and watch YouTube, show them where the numbers are. We have to learn to take control and accountability for our actions and our responsibilities, and be okay with the results, whether they be good or bad.
Okay. But now let's talk for a second. Mental health has been in the news a lot, especially over the last couple of years. You add in the pandemic as well. It's just taken it to a whole nother level. You have people out here losing loved ones. You have homes, and not to say you could really put it on the pandemic or blame the pandemic or whatever, but homes are people are people, you know what I'm saying? And, things are sort of, happening or what have you in those homes that are causing trauma, loss or what have you. But let me just ask, how can truth coaching not be therapeutic, but be a form of therapy, for those who may be going through trying times?
Well, what I like to do is I like to help people, because I can't make anyone do anything, but I can help you. And what I like to help you do is, okay, we always have a problem that we're standing in front of. And, I know as for me, for years, I had the same problem. It didn't always look the same, but the core was always the same. And what I try to help people do is look past the problem and let's try to find the root. What has built it up to this point? Because if we can find the root of the issue, we can start to try and find resolutions within the problem. But that's how truth coaching is therapeutic, because it gives you an opportunity to live within your space and get that opportunity to say, you know what? I just didn't want to do that. And it could be a simple thing. It could be as simple as playing soccer. See, people don't understand how sometimes mental illness can come from the smallest inkling of a situation. What's wrong, man? Well, I'm still a little upset because when I was 10, I didn't want to play soccer. You did? No, I didn't want to play soccer. But Dad played soccer and he really wanted me to play soccer, and I just didn't know how to hurt his feelings. But you living in misery now, because instead of you having the ability to live within your truth, that we got in trouble for all kind of stuff. I wish I had known what I know now and got in trouble for some of the things that I wanted to say. It was gonna be the same result. But you know what? They would have heard me. You see where I'm going? You may not have got what you wanted, but you would have embedded a seed here for them to think later. And that next time you might actually get the opportunity to voice your opinion. So what truth coaching would do for the world is the truth coaching gives you that opportunity to stop standing in the mud and let's see where the water source started. Because you might just be able to create a dam and keep yourself on solid ground.
No, man, but you are correct, man. We have to stand in those truths. We have to come to grips with, things. And hopefully at some form in time, we can, stop getting the yes men and the enablers, because we do have those now. You know what I'm saying? You do have those, and they'll tell you everything. Yeah, Coach Randy, yeah, Coach, yeah. But the second you leave, we go back, man, we turn back into this and we go back into this funk. And then, man, 2 or 3 days from now, they calling you again with the same issue. Like, how do we come to grips with what's going on? Like, I have friends like that. I'm pretty sure you have friends like that as well, And, you know, sometimes to those around you, it can be a little draining. And, you know, you wonder, sometimes people are like, well, I'm not getting the help I need. It's not that you're not getting the help that you need, but sometimes it is that tough love. You know, people do.
Yes.
Sometimes people do care enough about you to let you try to get out of it on your own instead of trying to show you the way. Mm-hmm. So,
you know, Brother Ty, one thing that I do for myself is to try to live, because I try my best to live in my truth daily. You know, I'm always reminded. I remember I was one of those. I was a very big liar and manipulator growing up. But the reason why I was is because I wasn't that kid that was allowed to be heard. So I would do the things I want to do, then I knew how to cover it up. You know, so
right.
I remember my dad telling me one time, he said, son, I'm gonna believe what you told me today. He said, but if I ask you 20 years from now and it's the truth, you'll tell me the same thing. But if it's a lie, you best remember it. Now you think about mental illness. Mm-hmm. Those instances in your story or in your past, you never forget them, but the story sometimes changes because throughout life you're trying to make this story work for you. Mm-hmm. Oh well, let me try to make. It's like playing checkers, you know. There's really no wrong way to play checkers. You can jump backwards, you can jump forward, you can't go sideways, but you can pretty much do anything you want to do, you know? Mm-hmm. That's how it looks instead of it being precise like chess, where you have to have a strategy. But my point is, not only do you have to have a strategy, you have to think into the future.
Yes.
So when you're doing things with people or you're talking to your kids or you're being those parents that we're talking about that are insecure in hoping that they do get what they're supposed to get, think about how that moment may affect them 5 years from now. Because you are only one mistake away from losing everything that you've worked hard for. So I try to do that. Sometimes I have to actually say, I'll be back and step away. And this is even with my wife. And I have to go back and I have to reevaluate and then come back to the table and say, you know what? Let's take a different approach. Because I can't continue to always be right because that's a lie. The truth is a positive conversation comes from two people doing it mutually with understanding and the willingness to know that they're not going to always be right. I mean, that's the advice I try to give everybody. Be open-minded in every, even in the midst of anger. Be open-minded.
Yes.
Because consequences are real.
Yes.
And some of them are not recoverable.
All right, look. We having church, y'all. Okay, man, look. I don't know what to tell y'all around here now, boy. Look, y'all, this good gospel we got today now. Good gospel. Men's auxiliary board meeting happening today, boy. Look here. You know what? I'm gonna stop. Anyway, let me move on to my next question. Basically, you have something called the Sims approach. Can you please tell us all about it and its focus?
Yes. Well, what happened was we realized that it was a pattern. No matter who I was coaching, it was always the same thing. I was always starting with the problem, and that problem always had me going, let's just talk. And the talk always went back years. Like, man, you at 5 years old right now? So I was like, you know what? This story has some real good things about it. So that's how I coach now. I get people comfortable enough to get into their story. But really get into your story. I don't want Dr. Seuss or, I don't want the Care Bears. I want your story. Mm-hmm. I want the one that you have been afraid to tell. Because that's where we're going to find the things that we need to change. So once we do that, that takes a little moment. But once we finally get into that, we start to pick out the things that need to be worked on. We don't have to do them all at one time. We don't have to do the worst one. It could be a simple one because it takes baby steps to get to those big jumps. And then we start to implement and change. That's the I, implementation. We start to implement in a little bit of change. Now that change can be tough. It may be losing a friend, it may be not really talking to this person. I can love you from afar type situation. Maybe things of that nature. Now we got this change. We got this implementation process out the way. Now we're feeling good about ourselves. But now we got to manifest some differences. We got to start walking the walk and talking the talk. And once you're in that moment, show and tell is just who you are now. Baby, you just showing the world a new version of you. They seeing this smile. Like I tell people all the time, it's all love all day and it's always beautiful to me, because you don't have no time for what's going on around here because you got your own stuff to deal with. But by me living in my truth, I can do that. I can do that. Me and my wife had a conversation the other day. I woke, see, people think that, well, coach, you, truth coach, you got it. But guess when I woke up? I didn't wake up till around really 2019. Truly wake up. Since 2019, no rifts in my house, brother. Because it's all on the table now. I stopped being a manipulative fool. And I started being an open and honest husband. I started being a straight up father. I started being the cool dad. I started being the hip husband. You know what I mean? It's so much peace in truth. They say it will set you free. It truly will, brother. The truth will set you free. And just think what your truth will do for you.
So look, Coach, we talk around here from time to time, and I ask this question, not all the time, but given the circumstances, but I think this is a perfect time to present it. We talk about leaving empty. And when we talk about leaving empty, man, look, you're leaving empty. It's all said and done. Here lies Coach Randy. He didn't live this life, this, that, what have you. But when we talk about leaving empty, no regrets, no shoulda, coulda, wouldas, no, I wish I had a chance to. No, man, you left it all on the line. So when you leave it all on the line and, it's all said and done, what will the legacy of Coach Randy be, or what do you want your legacy to be?
I want people to remember that Coach was transparent. I didn't hide it. I was honest with myself and I was honest with you. I can't help you if I protect your feelings. I cannot help you if I protect your feelings. But I also can't help myself if I hide things. So you're gonna say, I'm literally gonna leave it all on the line. Like literally, I'm leaving it all on the line. Transparency. Coach was transparent. He did it the way it was supposed to be done. He did it the way it was supposed to be done. And I feel like if I leave that way, my wife and my kids and everybody around me is going to be proud of the life that I left.
Okay, now, come on. Distinguished now, okay? Y'all ain't feeling me over here. But no, look, I like that. Transparency is key, not hiding anything. Like we can't be afraid of a person's honest opinion.
Yes.
Because as I said, that's their fingerprint. Their fingerprint is not your fingerprint. So, whatever. Anyway, that's a sermon for a whole nother day. But anyway, all right. But no. So let me ask, if people want to get in contact with you, if they want your services, if they want to, the website, follow you, social media, what have you, how can they do so?
Man, I make it real simple. My website is, hey man, look, I got an MBA in marketing. I learned a little something. TruthCoachRandy.com. And if you want me on any social media platform, all you got to search is Truth Coach Randy. You can't miss me.
Streamline, y'all. Look, Streamline is all about business. Hey, look. The man knows marketing now, okay? All right, he knows how to get the point. All right, not only is he a truth coach, but yeah, he's a hell of a marketer as well. There it is. There it is. No, man. I love it. I love it. So, truthcoachrandy.com, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, man. Take you to the website. Wonderful website, man. Everything's laid out on there. Services or what have you. Everything you need. One-stop shop.
And I do got one thing for you, brother.
Come on.
Before we go, I gotta let the people know now. We have erected Truth University. Now, Truth University is a place where you can come, and you can start to do this with others around you. You know, you can build up the confidence to have that one day where you actually take that leap towards that big problem. But you know, support is amazing. Support is amazing. So we have set up an online platform where you get to go through the sales approach. You get to deal with Truth Coach Randy. You get it. And once you're in there, you get group sessions, but you also get a little bit of Coach Randy by yourself from time to time. And it's you know, and it's just a great place to go. And you can find that at thesimsapproach.com.
Okay. All right. Come on now. Go ahead. All right. Truth University.
Yes, sir.
Look here. Truth University and truthcoachrandy.com. Look. Go change your life. All right.
There you go.
Go change your life. All right. Go ahead and get some truth and order about yourself. All right.
I love it.
Now, look, I've come to my last question. This is the question that my show is known for, but I would love to hear your answer. All right.
Okay.
Truth Coach Randy. All right. Coach Randy now. What is the one word that best describes you and why?
Love. Why? Because I tell you, I don't judge one man, but I love all of them. And that's a generic man for man and woman. Like I said it earlier, people ask me how it's going. I tell them all the time, it's all love all day when it comes to the Truth Coach. And it'll never change. Love.
You said it earlier, man. Transparency. You know, like that's the one word I can honestly say that has been at the forefront of our whole conversation from the beginning, you know, just in everything that we like discussed. And you have to be transparent, introspective, you know, because we are talking about living in our truth. So in order to do that, you know, as you were saying, you got to get up, you got to self-reflect, you know, you got to think about, hey, what's my part in all of this? What's my part in, you know, to, you know, these things that's going on with me every time I think about X, Y, and Z, you know, or, you know, what's the truth about, you know, myself when it comes to my life at this moment? What's the truth about myself when it comes to my family? Am I being a good family man? Am I being a good father? You know, so these are things that, you know, we have to ask ourselves and come to the really come to the truth, you know, and like really sit on it, but not just stay there and wallow in it. We have to pivot, and now we have to start to make these changes. So there it is. Okay, all right, man. Look, I told y'all was gonna get this gospel today. All right, man. Look, no. Look. Once again, I thank you. Seriously, I thank you for being a guest on the platform. And I'm going to keep it real with you now, Coach. You know, look, you family now, okay?
I love it.
So, since you family, the platform is always open to you. Man, the door is always open to you. All right, Coach Randy? All right? The door is always open to you, you know? But no, man, look, feel free to come back anytime. I would love to have you back, you know, as a, you know, guest on the panel or what have you. But anything that you have going on in the works in the future that you feel you may want to, you know, come back and talk about, seriously, I mean, no Hollywood talk, you know, no.
I got you.
Yeah. All right. No, seriously, man, doors are always open to you. So
thank you, sir.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, man, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I have been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me, all social media platforms, at Word with Ty Brownlow, just like Coach Randy, all right? You know, and basically, you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com, get this wonderful conversation, plus other conversations as well. Coach, we out. Peace.
Peace.